Hi everyone, thank you for joining me. This is Rosina Starr. If you like this video, please like, share, and subscribe. So this video is going to be titled Sex with a Narcissist. And it's different than sex with other people, and I'm going to explain some of the differences from my own experiences. Or what I would think it's supposed to be like, because I don't think I've actually had a long-term relationship with a normal guy yet, but it is something I'm going to look forward to in the future. So let's talk about that. So a narcissist with sex is going to push it very quickly. They're going to push for it in every way they can. On the phone, they're going to shower you with gifts, affection, whatever is the hook to your heart, basically. If you give them the roadmap, they will grab onto that and they will take advantage of it and use it later on to kind of hold everything that you are or that you would like against you. It's used more as a weapon and a bargaining tool than an expression of caring for one another. So how I try to coach people that have been in relationships with strange sex with narcissists is, what would love look like to you and what would it feel like? And if they can't give you an idea off the top of their head, that is a little scary to me, because you should know what your idea of love is, because if you don't, and how do you ever expect to find something if you don't even know what you're looking for? It's basically, you'll just get served a random dish at the restaurant and eat it, not even knowing or caring if you like it, because you haven't really consulted with yourself first. So to avoid a lot of disconnected episodes and sexual experiences that don't feed your soul and only take from you, it is in your best interest to get to know what love looks like and what it feels like to you. If you asked me, love looks like to me when I get home from a day at work, somebody in the kitchen, somebody hanging out, waiting for my presence, doing their own thing is fine, saying hello, a kiss and a hug, hello, and, discussing what we're going to do for dinner, or, maybe he already made dinner, or either way, it feels like a welcoming feeling that I would get when I arrive home. It feels like comfort. It feels like I can tell this person anything. This person is my soulmate. I don't have to worry about some kind of disaster happening or some kind of plotting or scheming going on behind my back. I don't have to worry that, I'm going to bother them in some way, or they've harbored some kind of hatred, or whatever the case is. There's no danger there. You feel at ease. You feel better for being around that person, and you're a better person together, and you actually complement each other going out, instead of one person needing the shine or to put somebody else down to feel and look better in a group of people or otherwise. Okay, so we get to sex with a narcissist. A lot of them just want to act out like they're on a porno set. Usually, they don't care who it's with, because they usually are compulsive, impulsive people, and obsessive compulsive as well. They tend to find scenes from movies and want to act out with certain types of people. It can be guys and girls, or both. So, being the insatiable individual that they are, it'll start out simple, somewhat boring to them, basically geared toward what you like. And you can really tell if the narcissist is used to going and getting sex and paying for it, because they won't even know how to touch you or like you or want to love you the way a normal person would even try to. Now, the psychopath, he's a little bit different in bed. It does a lot for his ego to sit and get you off the way that he can. And he has that kind of vision going for him with his ego. So he wants you to come back to that sex. He wants you to really crave and want that from him. And if you're the type of woman that really hasn't had any kind of sexual great experiences before, or he gets you real young, and he can learn all the things you like and learn your body, it's an amazing, astronomical, addicting experience, right? So after you've had one of those type of guys, I have in my past, and I've actually taken the time to actually not make that a priority in my life anymore, a great sex life. It's like 10% of a relationship for me. So right away, if a guy is like really wanting that from me, or talking about it, or trying to gear the whole relationship towards it so soon, within the first month or two, I just lose interest. I mean, it bores me to tears. Like, I'm not even going to pretend. Like, what's the point? I don't get anything out of it. So it's like, I had a friend that degraded herself, had a trauma bond with this narcissistic guy so bad that she was actually trying to please him while he watched pornography, because it was such a part of his daily routines. That's the only way he could actually get off it. It took him an awfully long time, and there had to be toys involved, and it went on, and she just kind of sat there with a bored look on her face. The more he could make her do, the higher dopamine hit and rush he would get. And see, with the psychopath, depending on how they see you with the sex, because I've had sex with both types of guys, and just one, mind you, not many, from my experiences. The psychopath, the hit of dopamine for rewards is higher, I think, than maybe the narcissist is, because I could just tell the experience level with my last narcissist, Finn, was very, very low. I could tell by the way he touched me. He wasn't connecting to me at all. It was just, he really wanted the control over me to make me believe things, and the mind control over the sex. And to be honest, narcs prefer to masturbate, whether it's with your body or their hand. You're either doing it for them or you're acting out with them. It's never an act of them giving, because when it looks like they're just basically giving, like mirroring by like giving to you. So it's not really an act of giving, it's actually taking. So don't be deceived by the whole experience with them. And a lot of the time you'll notice, if you get nothing out of it, you'll just feel fine. If you've disassociated through the whole experience, you'll feel like kind of numb and just like, whatever. Someone could touch you and it's like feels like someone's touching me. Like there's no, I feel this guy, he is touching me. And a lot of it has to do with our own desire for those specific needs, wants, and how well the narcissist can really plug into those and cater to it. So after sex, I noticed toward the end of my relationship with Finn, felt very hollow and very, very sad and depressed to the point where, I was in severe crying and tears depression. And you know why that probably happened? I worked with a therapist a little while to know. Because he treated me so terrible outside the bedroom at that point, neglecting, ignoring, being gone for long periods of time. I knew he was cheating. It could never be talked about. And he would just expect these unreasonable things and these, acts of trust and being close. And I didn't feel close to him at all. And my body had a way of really showing that by actually feeling frustrated during the experience and disassociating, which then left me sad, depressed, and felt disconnected, like within my human being, within myself. So that was actually making me be less connected to me. So when we do stuff, it was very, very hollow. So every girl should pay attention when that's happening. So then we move along to other narcissists. Strange sex experiences. I knew this guy once, and I actually was going to be going to his new house he had just bought in some part of Illinois, I don't know, and I had got there and there was a couple watching porn, and he was in the shower, and I was like, what is up with this scenario? This is screwed up. This guy basically had this couple there, and then some other person showed up randomly. And I'm like, what is with all of these people? You didn't say anything about it. And it was just a very awkward, time and experience for me. Because I had just broken up with Finn. So it's just getting to know new people. And so then again, I feel like he was trying to deceive me and have other people there and possibly set up something not favorable. Because I didn't know the guy that well, right? So anyway, I just found him aggressive, a little bit too forceful, deceiving me with words, and making empty promises. And at the end of everything, he stole my money. He stole $50 from me, and he never paid me back. And I don't even think he would admit taking it, but it was my only $50 I had in my purse at the time. And, you know, all these guys will steal from you your time, your money, your best qualities, your sex. None of it means anything to them. You're just part of a harem and part of a collection. And the sooner you learn your place and you're happy to play the part, they're happy to have you. So the sex will have to get more and more perverse for them to actually want to do it with you or get off on the idea of it. It's really strange because you can tell what kind of sex a guy is used to having by being with him and how he can get off. If he's used to jerking off, you'll have to jerk him off to get him off, if that's what he's used to. If he's used to, you know, screwing somebody raw, that's how he'll have to get off best, right? Because that's what he's used to. We all go where we know, and we know what we're used to by how our body responds to it. So being intuitive to your partner, whether he's a narcissist or not, you're going to know by their behavior and their habits of how you have to do things. Sorry, people like to yell at me even when I look like this. You're going to know what they're used to. So it's just a matter of really knowing your partner, but then really knowing yourself and trusting, you know, what you're seeing with your own eyes. Knowing what you're seeing with other people is real. Like, you're really like paying attention to what's happening with the experience. It's not just, oh, well, this is what he wants, so I'm going to give it to him. No, is that what you want? Like, it's funny how I could go and have a pretty hollow sexual experience with somebody that I would know, right? And I would make sure I got everything I wanted out of the experience. And us being nurturers as women, guys would find that so odd that the attachment, you know, could be there or not, depending on my brain. Am I really present with the experience? Because I'll tell you what, if you're present in the experience with these people, it's going to affect you a lot more when you take yourself away, because you were present in that experience with these guys, right? And so when you have that sexual experience just stop, you almost find yourself craving their presence and craving them. And what they'll do is they'll refuse to give it to you. They'll treat you so bad and you'll deal with it just to get the good again. And they'll usually have to lure you in through the sex. They'll lure you in with something you want. Maybe it's a perfume that you wanted. Maybe it's a trip you wanted to take. Maybe it's something for your kid they wanted, they asked you to buy. They'll just take notes and they'll bring that stuff around to lure you back in. Kind of like child molesters do to children. You know, they lure you with this bait. And it's really sick and it's very sad because they have nothing to offer you internally. They have no emotion. They have no feelings. They can't relate to you. You know, they can't understand you when you talk. You know, and every time I would do stuff with a narcissist sexually, I would either get really depressed and very sad, have some kind of issue with an infection because they're so filthy, which was always curable, thank God. But, I mean, you just never know with these people. You're playing Russian roulette with your body every time you see them because you don't know the sinister plan that they have in their head with what they're really thinking. You don't know where they were before they just came back to you. Just because they said they were somewhere doesn't mean they were. Ask them to prove it. So, I mean, I've got to get to a coaching session in about 10 minutes, but yeah, every sexual experience, I even remember telling him, I go, you know, I feel like I'm just a tool for your masturbation and I don't really get anything out of it, so why am I doing this anymore? I just eventually had to be like, this is dumb, I'm not doing it, stop. You know, so then I would just look for ways to avoid it. And he used to go and smear me to people and say, oh, well, she was so bone dry. She was so awful as a lover. Well, isn't that kind of an insult to you as a man? Because then it's something you're probably not doing right, why she's like that. So people don't realize how they smear themselves along with what they're saying if they have any kind of intelligence and a brain in their head to hear what they're saying coming out of their mouth and how it looks for them too. But anyway, him looking the way he does and me being who I am doesn't really fit. And, you know, the sex is always degrading. They always have to have a reason for it. Oh, revenge sex is great. Yeah, just tell me what you're doing. You know, I'll tell you, the projection is the closest to confessions that you're going to get, guys, because they always have something else cooking. And sometimes you know what it is, but you can't dare say it. It's kind of like that game where, like, guess which hand it's in. And, you know, they'll even tell you, oh, it's not that one, but they'll never show you what's in their hand. So it's just like, you got to just deal with it. And the more sex you have, the more susceptible you'll be to get diseases. The more likely you are to feel worse and worse about yourself and have little self-esteem to no self-worth, because the end of it's going to be frustration or just them degrading you later on for what didn't go right, or, you know, how you suck or something because they're sick of you. Everybody doesn't realize, unless you climb the mountain, even and do everything under the sun with these people, will never be enough to satisfy them for very long, because they'll want to do that with somebody else. You know, it never stops with you. It doesn't stop anywhere. It just keeps going until it's dead. Till they spiritually kill others, or even physically, until they're dead or you're dead. The only way to escape them is to ignore them, hide from them, do your inner work, and avoid them completely. Think about, if you hate somebody, how do you treat them? You don't call them, you don't text them, you just leave them the hell alone. You are quiet. You don't say anything to that person, you don't think about them, you just plain don't care. That's how you have to get in your head and get it right. As if you don't, you're going to be on their program. And it's the same thing over and over again until eventually, if you physically need medication, you know, you're breaking down. And this is to a point where they'll tell you you need medication. Well, you're bipolar. Well, you can't control your emotions. Well, you have feelings today. There's something wrong with you. Go to the doctor. Get yourself checked. You know, it's just always something. It's kind of like they're junk food and you're eating it. They have nothing good to offer you. And if they were about something that was really good, they'd be doing it. So just things to think about, guys. If you'd like to share any of your experiences, you can in the comments or you can email me. This is Rosina Star.